Hi, and welcome back to the third episode of Between the Takes. Today's guest is my friend, my colleague, an amazing actor and stunt woman, also camera assistant who I just learned recently, Chantelle Small. Welcome, Chantelle.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
So
you.
excited to be here.
We work quite a bit for the past few years, but I
Yeah.
feel like we never really had a chance to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to learn about your life, how you got to the point where you are today. So take me back to where kind of everything has started. Because, and also,
All right, how far back do you want to go?
as far as you feel comfortable.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I've definitely bopped around different apartments quite a bit. Kind of my main mode of operation, to be honest, across my life. But with the film industry, I'd say we'll start with when I was regularly kind of doing background. So I'd say that I started doing background, and then at the same time I was actually working with a ocean adventure company and was doing water safety with documentary crews, and then expanded those roles throughout different productions. Got more involved with union work by doing background as well and water safety.
Yeah.
Expanded into acting, and then as they, like yourself, kind of realize the different tools I have in my resume or experiences that I have in my resume, expanded into stunt work and stunt acting. So that's kind of where I am now.
I'm so far away from stunt performance, stunt safety, stunt coordination. So I would really love for you to just to explain how you got to being a stunt performer, a stunt coordinator here in the province.
Yeah. Definitely wasn't what I thought was in the realm of possibility until I gradually, it seems, kind of started making steps towards that. I've always been interested in kind of exploring new experiences, and when opportunities come, if I have the capacity to take it on, then generally I just kind of jump on it and work it into my daily schedule. Through my teens and 20s, was involved in a lot of sports. I would say back to the water safety, it was mainly diving. So scuba diving, that kind of got me into the water safety aspect of it. And also my experience with competitive judo. Being a background performer gave me that familiarity with set dynamics and how set kind of runs. And then as I was in proximity to more crew members, producers, directors, and key person, stunt coordinator.
So you started originally as you say, as a background, then you moved to being an actor and then doing stunts, right?
Yeah.
So, and you worked on shows as Hudson Rock, St. Pierre.
Yeah.
Mainly acting, and then you did some camera training.
My first camera trainee placement was actually in 2020.
Okay.
Right, right after the lockdowns and pandemic. And then I jumped from my Hudson and Rex camera placement into surreal estate.
Surreal estate, right?
Yeah, huge learning experience, and I would say that's probably where I got the most understanding on just how fast-paced the acting portion of it needs to be. Having the opportunity to experience it from each department's perspective really gave me an appreciation for just how much pressure everybody is under, and to make sure that when I'm invited back to set, regardless of what role, then I'm doing each department their due service, essentially. Yeah.
Right. When you first ever started thinking of getting into film, did you know who you want to be? No.
To be honest, my first definitely at least 5 years of regular film work was purely recreational. It was a fun job. It was just a new industry, a new experience, and I really enjoyed it. I did have a concept of what I wanted to be, but understanding how to actually get there was totally out of my realm of experience. I grew up in really small towns, so from Goose Bay, Labrador, and grew up in the Northwest Territories, and couldn't even conceive of how to access the industry with the resources that I kind of had available. If I were to have picked, it would have been more in the documentary realm. I've always loved documentaries. Would have loved to be a camera operator for National Geographic. Was honestly kind of...
I feel like it's such a beautiful job.
Yeah. I really like the storytelling, the narrative opportunities of capturing kind of nature and telling those stories, which lent really well to my experience as a tour guide with the Ocean Adventure Company as well. Yeah.
Right.
But once I got into the film industry, it still was being more along the lines of a camera operator, again, because scripted was so foreign to me that I knew that there was a huge skill set that was needed to be able to guide that narrative, tell that story. There's a certain structure that comes with shooting and organizing a scripted shoot. And then as I looked at my resume and as more people recognized the skill sets that I had, I recognized that stunts is also a pretty easy sidestep. I'm hesitant to say easy, but it's just because that's how I've always kind of, again, navigated my life, is through more unique experiences, I'll say.
Well, you were saying that you were doing the water safety at the Ocean Quest.
Yep.
I just had a St. Pierre episode popping up in my mind where you played Errol in season 2.
Oh, yeah.
In one of the first episodes,
Yeah.
you did the diving scene.
That was very cool. Yeah.
Was it the stunt that you did yourself?
Yeah, that was my second stunt actress role. Huge opportunity, really, really grateful for that experience. And essentially I got to play dead or dying for, I think it was maybe 5 shoot days. So, yeah, the big diving day was really, really cool.
The shots are beautiful.
They're gorgeous.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, so again, in my absolute glee with that whole shoot. When Alan kind of contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in doing that role, as soon as he mentioned that it would be diving, gave me a brief description of what the character was kind of going through and what the shot ideas were, or the shot concepts were, immediate yes. Didn't see the script, had no idea how many shoot days it was, just knew it was an opportunity to kind of get in the water and get some really, really cool shots. Yeah.
And it's also so much trust, between producers, writers, directors, basically essentially with everyone you're working with.
Yeah.
Just to say a quick yes, you know.
Yeah, no, and that's another area where I think that coming more into this stunt realm makes it a lot easier for me to say those yeses for the stunts, is because I got so familiar with the crews that I would be working with, and again, what the quality of work that they're doing is, what the standards are for how they execute each scene, and again, how the dynamics work, because oftentimes when I'm doing the stunts, it's very little preparation. You just have a concept, and then a lot of the times you don't even see the environment that you're doing the stunt in until you land on set on the day. So you have to have that kind of mental preparation as well as the physical preparation, just like you would with acting. But there is a certain level of risk that you have to be able to assess and feel comfortable with.
Being in the stunt world, it requires so much of the physical abilities,
Yeah.
but it also, as you said, requires a lot of mental preparation.
Yeah.
How do you balance those two? How do you prep yourself physically and mentally?
Familiarity across the board. You have to be really familiar with how your body moves, how you respond to different environments. For example, like taking a fall is probably one of the easiest things that you'll do for stunts. And sure, falling in its own concept can be very easy if you're familiar with doing a break fall, if you've got that experience with martial arts. But then you take in the elements of you've got at least 20 people that are watching you fall. How do you respond to that kind of perception of how your body is moving? You've got different environments that you're falling. So falling on the ground is completely different than falling on a rocky beach. A lot of different risk factors that you've got to take into account. So it comes down to familiarity with how you're going to react to the environment as well as how you're physically going to move. From there, the mental comes easily, at least for me. It's knowing that I'm physically prepared makes it a lot easier for me to confirm and ground the mental preparation.
Yeah, no, and just as you said, being around 20 people.
Yeah.
On bigger productions, you wouldn't really know those 20 or 100 people that are behind the cameras.
No.
But here, I feel like we're a bit more lucky with the fact that we're working most of the time with the same people, so you kind of know they will have your back, and there is nothing to be kind of scared or, be stressed.
Absolutely. The familiarity with the crew can really give you that sense of security that, okay, somebody here knows me. Somebody here understands kind of where I'm at. If you do have a moment of hesitation or if you do have a moment of uncertainty, you have that person or those people that you know that you have that rapport with. And it is a lot easier to go up and say, hey, I'm feeling a little uneasy about this aspect. Can you give me a little more information so that I can feel more secure in what's about to happen? Or you can come up with a compromise.
Right.
But at the same time, being familiar with those people can be a little bit of extra pressure because that familiarity, on one side, it can be that in your head, and again, this may go back to mental preparation, is you project an expectation of what they're looking for you to perform or a certain level of performance output that, again, most likely you're mentally projecting. And then you've got just your fun friends that you gotta... It can feel silly, and it's like, wait, no.
I'm gonna work.
I'm serious.
I'm gonna work.
I have to be serious right now. This is a serious scene, especially usually in stunts. It's usually that key conflict point, right? So
someone's getting kicked, or like falling.
Yeah, exactly. You're in a conflict. You're in a high emotional state. So again, that mental preparation of understanding who your character is, how your body is supposed to be moving, and staying present in that performance. Before locking eyes with somebody and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know you were capable of this. And you're like, yep.
I can do that.
I can do this. Okay.
When you're doing your stunt trainings either here. Do you ever go outside of the province for your stunt trainings?
I would love to, but the financial component is heavy.
Traveling, yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
The courses, the stunt-specific courses, like registration alone is, I think the lowest that I've seen is around 2,000 to 2,500.
wow.
And then you add travel expenses, accommodations, meals. Most of them, I think some of the shortest ones are usually one weekend, and some of the longer ones, which generally, if you're going to make that investment, you'd like to take the opportunity for, they're not necessarily always in sequence. They're not always like 5 days in a row. Sometimes they can be 2 weekends, or like they're separated out, so that increases the expense for it.
Right.
Generally, most of the courses that I would like to take would be around like the 5 to 10,000 for the registration alone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Like, these are the things that I'm learning now.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and as far as like Canadian available stunt courses, I think Vancouver, BC area is the main hub, it seems, for them. And there may be a few others in Toronto, but from what I've seen, their schedule is quite a bit more sparse than what's available in BC. So you literally have to travel all the way across the country.
In the past couple of months, local ACTRA, I seen they were doing a couple of stunts trainings and everything. Do they talk about the mental part of the job, or is it purely, or are the courses are more focused on the physical abilities?
At this point, it's definitely more focused on the physical performance.
It's just so interesting, to actually learn what they're teaching you, because again, as I said, I'm so far away from everything. So whatever I'm hearing now is just so mind-opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it. It is kind of wild that, in a way, I have to like just settle with the fact that I am maybe a pioneer in this realm for the local, for the locals, essentially.
I actually
Like,
have a question about this.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
but yeah, the film industry alone is so new in the grand scheme of things for the province. And then the stunt aspect of it is even newer. It's very much, I would say, still in its infancy, especially when you compare to the caliber of performance and execution that you'll see on sets kind of everywhere else on the mainland. So I do think that as far as the courses that have been offered, or any of the workshops that the stunt community's offered here in the province, it is very much about the physical performance. But from an insider perspective, I see why it is, and it's because of the liability that's associated with those types of performances. So in terms of ability or opportunity to execute any of these workshops, the first thing that you've got to overcome is securing that liability and insurance to make sure that nobody is harmed, or if anything does happen, then nobody is left kind of hung out to dry. So there's obviously with that uncertainty aspect, or with that risk, there also comes a lot of responsibility. And you need to have all those resources and safeguards available and aligned to be able to execute something like that. And as much as it would be great to talk about the mental preparation and teach some of that aspect, the first step is making sure that everybody is physically safe, that everybody is meeting those safeguards and those limitations that are set by those liability insurances.
Have you ever had a moment where you had a physical block?
Pretty much every time.
Every time.
To be honest.
Because
yeah.
I still don't know and cannot imagine how much goes into just doing one stunt.
100%. Yeah.
Like, how do you overcome those physical blocks? Is there any like exercises you're doing, or are you talking to someone about that?
Yeah. Definitely. Like, I can think back on pretty much every stunt that I've done, and I've had that moment. Again, familiarity with the environment, familiarity with the people around me, that brings a certain level of comfort and security that I'll usually ground myself in. The other aspect is experience. Like I said, knowing how my body moves and reacts to the different actions or environments is a huge factor. And to anybody that's looking at potentially getting into stunts, I will say that, at least from my perspective, doing competition style really is where I got that skill set for grounding before performance. It also really helped because a lot of the times you're competing in huge audience settings, right? So you've got to you have to give that peak performance with an audience, and it can be really nerve-wracking the first time that you step into that competition setting. You need to perform, you need to turn on, you need to be able to quickly make decisions and kind of clear your mind, ground yourself in what you're about to do, and be able to execute left, right, center, be able to have those reactions just at the ready. So to be honest, when I'm on set and I'm having that moment, it goes right back to my judo competition. It's that moment of having butterflies in the stomach and, okay, I have to bow in and step into the mat and go.
For how long did you do judo?
I did judo. When did I start? I think I started in 2003.
Okay.
And then I finished. I went 2003 and then competed in the Canada Winter Games in 2007.
Okay.
And then continued recreationally for a few years, but pretty much kind of officially retired. Practicing judo in, I want to say 2013.
So kind of 10 years.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So the industry here in Newfoundland is growing every single year. More productions are coming, you know. And as I said, I know a couple of stunt performers here, yourself included. However, you're the only woman stunt performer that I know. Crazy. It's crazy. And obviously film is very much male-dominated industry in, I feel like, most of the departments. How does it feel being a stunt woman here in Newfoundland and Labrador?
If I were to put it in a single word, it is empowering to be able to not only step out and hold that space as a different demographic and kick down the door, but also being invited to demonstrate those skill sets, and that opportunity is there. So extremely grateful to any of the producers, directors, departmental heads that have that are inviting me in and showing that they do trust that I can give that performance. it does take a certain level of confidence to be able to do that, and I do recognize that. So I want to encourage any ladies that may think that you've got that in you and you've got that drive to be able to step through that door and, like I said, hold that space within a very male-dominated environment. Absolutely go for it. We need more women, and I wouldn't say that I'm the only female stunt performer in Newfoundland. I do know of a few others, but I'm just not sure what capacity or frequency the other ladies that I've seen that are locals that have done stunts. I've certainly been consistently performing stunts for at least 5 or 7 years. I think I've had at least 1 or 2 stunts that I've performed for the last 7 years, I would say.
I feel like the stunt community here is so small and very very small, very limited, that you don't really, and I only met 2 in my career here for the past couple of years. So I would love to meet more. And just to see how your department is growing. That would be amazing. Yeah,
absolutely. No, I'd love to see more women. I do think that the level of confidence or the level of trust that people have in me to be able to perform, again, comes back to my judo experience. To be honest, I don't even think about it, but it's because in my home judo club, I was the only female.
Oh, wow.
So I was the only female in the Goose Bay Judo Club. Adult female, I'll correct that. So being in those spaces with high energy, high risk, male-dominated environments, it's just par for the course. I've done it for years. Doesn't even faze me. I'm here to do my thing. You're here to do your thing. We are going to do it a little bit differently, but in the end, we can both execute exactly what we're coming here to practice. So I also know in some of the dojos and at least the martial arts community, there's been a constant want or a drive to expand on the women that are enrolled into these different martial arts programs, but it is very different than what the average woman is kind of looking for in terms of what experience they're looking to have. But if you want to get into stunts, it's definitely a good place to start, and I would say it's the most easily accessible skill set to enroll in for anybody that's local, at least to the metro area.
It has its risks, obviously, but we need more women.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Definitely encourage you to try out.
Do you have any kind of role models or anyone you just really like from the stunt world, or an actress who does her own stunts that you admire, or just peeking into what they're doing and trying to implement it into your work?
Yeah. As a kid, this may be a little too on the nose, but as a kid, Jackie Chan was very popular in my household, and to this day, still holds a place in my heart. Would I necessarily perform to the level that he did? Maybe not. Having longevity in my career is definitely paramount, but I always loved the comedic aspect that he put into the performance. It wasn't always just that, like I said, high conflict, high impact. He had a really interesting way of navigating the potential narrative for it and making it fun. So I do think that really influenced my view on the stunt aspect.
Right.
And Interestingly enough, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a big show that I was really interested in throughout my 20s, and had an opportunity to work on set with Chloe Bennett.
Okay.
So that was 2 years ago now, or was it last year? I don't know. Time flies.
But
I had the opportunity to do stunt safety for one of the scenes that she was in, and had an opportunity to kind of talk to her and say how I admired that she was kind of doing her own stunts, and watching how her character kind of progressed and gradually expanded into doing those stunts. So that was a really interesting conversation as well.
And was there any, it's kind of like fan questions, was there any movie that you were watching and they were doing a stunt and you were like, oh my god, I really want to do that?
I mean, Keanu Reeves. I'm sorry I don't have more female performers, but yeah.
But the problem is, there's very little female performers who are doing the stunts in the movies.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we need to change that.
Yeah, absolutely. I will admit that part of the reason that pretty much any Keanu Reeves, I mean, yes, everybody knows the John Wick series, and they have huge stunt sequences. That would be a dream, to be honest. But it is being able to kind of embody that just absolutely dominating character, and exploring having that moral drive behind that character on why they're expressing this much violence. It would be a really, really cool character to be able to embody just for like even a moment. And seeing that a lot more writing is exploring the realm of kind of female rage. It's not just the kind of limiting one comfortably digestible version of feminine rage, or like those more uncomfortable emotions. So it'd be really interesting to see where it comes in, or where it goes rather, in the next couple of years, because I think it's there.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now with Canadian film and television expanding, not only here in Canada, but US, all over the world.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely
Yeah.
on the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is something that a question that I wrote that I actually want to ask kind of on my behalf.
A personal question, I like it.
Well, kind of personal, but what's kind of misconception that people would have about being a stunt, or
Gotcha.
like most, like there are so many thinking like, oh, she's probably, or they're doing this, so this must be so easy. Like, what is something that, like, what is the biggest misconception people have about your work?
Not so much about my work in particular, but I think just
Well,
the understanding
yeah.
of the stunt realm in general, like actors, the performance, all of it. I think that something that I hear a lot is the perception that we're all a little unhinged. I mean, we are. We are. But as I've kind of pointed out, it takes a lot of control to be able to give these performances while also staying safe, while also making sure that everybody trusts how you're going to execute that performance, and of the utmost importance, that everybody is going to go home safely in the end of it. It's not just, oh, well, I'm going to throw myself off a building and it's going to be great. Yes, there is an a personal appeal towards that adrenaline, but again, it's controlled. It's not just purely pushing the boundary. It's not just being extreme for the sake of being extreme, especially in the film environment. It's because you're propelling a narrative. There's a purpose behind going to that extreme. And so doing it just for the sake of being unhinged isn't kind of what it's about. Very much not in my experience anyway. There's a huge level of responsibility that comes with it. So
yeah, all of the work that on set people are doing is so underseen.
Yeah.
There's, people see the finished product, and obviously, like, some people say at the end of the credits, and see all of the people who are working on the show, but just imagining what they're doing it's so much prep, so much work in production, post-production. It's
a lot of unsung heroes that go behind it. And I mean, to be fair, I don't fault the public for it, because it's a completely different animal in terms of how an industry or how a workplace operates.
yeah.
It's completely different than any other industry that I've worked in. And I do appreciate people like yourself that are kind of giving a little peek behind.
And I
behind the
appreciate
scenes.
people like you who are coming here and giving me the peak of the job.
Yeah.
But I really do love the fact that productions are starting more to give, like, they're starting to give more of the kind of crew appreciation, like posts on Instagram or something. It matters a lot.
It does,
It really
definitely.
matters.
Getting that recognition for your work, like I said, like we both acknowledged, a lot of work goes into it, a lot of preparation, a lot of discipline in your skill sets, and critiquing the quality of your work. Laundry list of people that I've worked with, and they deserve applause as well. They deserve to have their moment kind of in the spotlight or in front of the camera if there's that's something that they're comfortable with. But yeah, it just really appreciate giving people the opportunity to kind of peek behind, because I mean, even as you said, we've worked directly together, and I also don't quite know exactly the ins and outs of what you do, because I haven't worked in the departments that you've worked in. So you can literally be working on the same work site.
And you wouldn't know what others
and you'd
are
have
doing.
no idea what essentially your coworkers are doing
Right.
in the run of a day. But it's the schedule, it's that level of efficiency. If you have time to kind of look around at what other people are doing, then most of the time it's kind of like, well, you could be paying attention to your own work and upping the level of performance that you're giving, regardless of whether that's in front of the camera or behind the camera. Yeah.
There's definitely so much pressure being on camera, but also off camera. I think it's the mutual work flow that really keeps it together, that everything is going smooth and all the departments are connecting and being able to do work efficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. As there's been more productions, and I think as the industry is maturing, I will kind of disclaimer or addendum, or I'm not sure what the word is. I will correct my previous statement of, if you're paying attention to what other people are doing, then maybe you could be paying a little more attention to the work that or the quality of work that you're giving out as well. But I think as the industry matures, there's definitely an increased familiarity with what you need to do. Also experience. People are gaining quite a bit more experience. But there's also bigger productions that are coming in, which increase the pressure, increase the need for that output. But
the standards are getting, to the to a higher level.
Absolutely, but I think that it is starting to find that balance point where it's not just about pushing towards the next level of output and performance. It's also getting to a point where people are getting more comfortable in what their workflow is throughout the day.
Definitely.
They're getting more experience, so the consistency of the quality of work that they're doing is more easily attainable because that comes with experience. So then you get a little more space to be more social, to get to know your coworkers, to be able to socialize, the same that you would in a more civilian workplace.
Normal workplace.
Yeah, it's yes, the craft table is a great place to get a little quick socializing
Literally,
in.
yeah.
But yeah, it's really
Lunch
nice.
break, craft to table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that on sets there's a little more kind of personal interaction going on with the crewmates and a little more space to be able to do that. Yeah.
I was talking to someone yesterday at our rep party that, especially when you're working on a project that, goes for a couple of years, you do become like a little family.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really do.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
just letting go that, or it's hard.
Absolutely.
But also knowing that you have kind of your on-set, and production kind of office, just the production crew family is amazing.
Yeah. No.
It's crazy how, not crazy, but you do spend 12 hours, if not more, a day with them.
There's definitely that personal component and that proximity.
Yeah.
Very easy to say that you see your crewmates, especially if you're a regular kind of crew member or cast member, you're seeing them more than you're seeing your family. You're definitely seeing them more than you're seeing your non-film related friends.
Yeah.
I definitely do have those friend groups that have finally learned that, okay, it's summer. All right.
I'm off work. See you next year.
See you next year. All right, get our last couple coffee dates and catch-ups in with Chantelle before she goes off and wanders around the film industry for the rest of the season. See you at Christmas or see you next year. Yeah, so it's bittersweet because you do miss kind of your more civilian family.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to also kind of come in and once the season starts, seeing all those familiar faces again, and it really helps to be on a crew where everybody gets along and you can feel that sense of solidarity, familiarity, that personal connection, because a lot of the times it's fun, but it really helps on the not so easy days. Yeah.
I still do kind of romanticize the work a little bit. I think just because I'm not kind of like, I'm still relatively new. I still do romanticize, but I do love my work so deeply that I just cannot do it. Obviously, everyone has bad days, but as long as you're surrounded by understanding, people who will support you, your day is going to get better at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the question that I ask all of the guests on the show is, what advice would you give yourself at the start of your career?
I would encourage myself to take the industry more seriously. As a kid, I was discouraged from taking it seriously. There was a period that I did look at applying to art school and being more in the creative arts realm, but was quickly dissuaded from chasing that because the reality is that you have to pay rent, you have to pay for groceries, like you have to keep a roof over your head.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to the fact that there is a lot of discouragement from persuading the creative career, because it is true there is a lot of instability, but as you said, you can create the opportunities and take them, and it will get you to where you can be, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I also kind of grew up with the fact that you can't take the creative path, because you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer to make a living, and you cannot do it while being an actor or a theater worker. So you're not alone.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad that you broke out of that discouragement.
Well, I guess I'm going to end it here. It was Chantelle Small. Thank you so much, Chantelle, for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thank you. So I'm gonna talk to everyone. Please make sure that you follow Chantelle and watch all of her amazing works and all of her future works, because she really is amazing, and she is the power of the next generation actors and stunt performers here. So it really is important to follow and support your local performers.